Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Thursday Live. I hope we're going to be okay today. Something's going on with the computer, so hopefully that's working, and it's going to keep working. But if it automatically or suddenly goes black, that's what's going on. So we'll figure it out. But hello and welcome. Oh, that's probably too loud. Turn that down a little bit. A little bit. There we go. That's probably better. Okay, great. Yeah, actually, let me go over here and look. You guys are going to look over here for a second. And I will fix this. Oh, look at that. Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. Huh. See if I can do one quick thing. Hopefully you guys are still here. I don't know what's going on here. What a way to come back, huh? We missed last week's, and no, that's not what I wanted. Hold on. I know, so much fun. Let's see. Let's see if that helps. Hello, everyone. There we go. Dan, what's going on? Hello, Tim. Hello, Simon. Oh, good. That's awesome, Simon. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, we'll see if this is going to play nice here. I'm not sure what's going on. You guys are still live. We are still live. I don't know. Maybe this will work. I don't know. I hope so. Hold on. I'll get my crap together in a second. Everything is going so well. All right, let me jump back here. This is me. So I can see. Yeah, I guess that's going to work. Okay. Yeah, I'm having weird issues with the software, but you guys look like you're live, so I'm going to go with that. Yeah, Franz, what's up? Hey, there we go. Yeah, I'm just going to go for it. Weird computer problems. But anyway, what I thought we would do today is this headlight here. I got a bunch of 543s. I really wanted to do one of them with you guys because I'm having a blast with it, but I did that 2 weeks ago. So we're going to try to, keep it not all one thing, even though, like I said, you guys kind of get whatever's going on here at the shop. But I don't want to keep doing the same thing either. So let's roll with this. So yeah, I thought doing this little headlamp would be fun. Good. I think everything's good. Everything good? I don't know. Whatever. Okay, we'll figure it out. I'll figure it out after. All right. I've already done this headlamp. I'm trying to move forward on this. I'm trying to get this done because this guy's been sitting around for way too long. And it's great because of you guys, because normally I kind of put this off to do other stuff like I have been. But when it comes down to things like today, it's like, oh, I should really work on that. And that's good because it's motivation for me. So if you're having an issue kind of keeping going on something, find a way to find an equivalent source of like accountability, I guess. Tell your friends that you're going to show them your painting every week, and then you have to do it, and it's really kind of cool. Yeah, Tim, sorry I got on late, but I caught the end of it. It was awesome. That's your train nap is coming out great. I love it. Oh, good. I'm glad, Simon. Yeah, whatever's going on is what you guys get. So it's not always scripted, and things always go sideways. That's what I can promise you guys. Yeah, Simon, it's great. And so it doesn't have to be like, yeah, if you want to do, go live or post your work. Back when there wasn't live streams and, there were just websites like forums and stuff. I used to be on airbrush.com all the time. And it was great accountability just posting my work once a week. Like, here's the update on this. And I had to do it, even if no one was watching. And it was great. It really kept me going on some of the things that were, they would have hung around for a really, really long time. I'm going to give you guys one little quick bit of show and tell. If you were here on Monday when I went to Mr. Hansen's to have him stripe, I got the first round of clear on this. And this is how it looks right now. So it's coming along. So you can still see, this is House of Color clear. There's about 3 coats of clear on this, but you can still see as I move this, you can still see the striping, you know, the bumps of the striping. So what's going to happen now is I'm going to sand this down, and then I'm going to clear it again. And then when I put 2 more coats of clear on this, you won't see any of that. It'll be like a sheet of glass on top of this. But that's how it's coming out. And this one is already gone, so someone already grabbed this one. But figured I'd show you, since that is, you know, other show and tell. And then I think I mentioned this to you guys last week, but I have the sand for the Tokyo painting, which I'm super excited about. So anyway, back to it. All right, this light here. It's actually pretty easy. I mean, there's a lot going on in it, but it's pretty subtle, the colors that are in it. And I've got most of them already blocked in already. So that's going to be lovely. Do I have a... I know I do. Where's my color photograph? So there it is. This is great. This will work. So I'm going to go by my little color photograph instead of the tablet, because I got you guys here and I'm watching comments on the tablet. I love that I'm having problems with the switcher program, but you guys are still here. What's happening is the switcher that I have is actually putting the feed out for me. And the software is great for doing stuff like, you know, inserting pictures and stuff like that. But I didn't know that the switcher would still work if the software was off. That's really good to know. So for instance, if the computer totally crapped out that I have next to me, we would still be live, which is really exciting. I like that. Mr. Brown, what's up? JC, what's going on? Roberto, what's happening? Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, Quake Cool has some striping on there too. Yeah, Simon, and you got it. It was Hanson that striped it, or both, the gold leaf and the other, which was fun. All right, so normally what I would have done is I would have finished the radiator housing first and probably this fender before I did the headlamp, because I try to go from back to front. It just makes it a little bit easier. But this guy is so complex that, you know, I won't get any paint on the headlight if I do that first. So that's what we're going to do. I've already got most of it in, so I think what I'll do is we'll shore it up first with a little bit of paintbrush. Tim, you have been using the wet palette, and we are getting into a warmer season. Have you run into the stinky factor yet? And Tim might know what I'm talking about. So this is my wet palette. Hold on, let me turn it on. There it is. So this is my wet palette. And it keeps water, you know, keeps the paint moist. But what happens is if you don't regularly clean this out, and I went away for a few days, meaning you take everything out, rinse it all out, and you know, kind of reset the water can get skunked, and it smells really bad. So anyway, that's one thing to keep in mind. If you get a wet palette, you got to be careful of that. I learned some cool tricks that I don't know if they work, but I think they work. First off, the reason why you buy a wet palette from someone like Wetgrass is they expect this. So what happens is the foam pad that's underneath this, it's almost like a really thick chamois, that has, you know, it's treated so it doesn't have stuff grow on it very easily, which is nice. And then I also saw a comment by someone who was using a wet palette saying that if you put copper in the wet palette somewhere in the water, the copper leaches out and it stops the algae or whatever from growing. Very much like copper sulfate. You know, if I haven't seen it since I moved to the Midwest, but they have a lot of these ponds, and I'm just going to start working while I'm talking. So they have these like man-made ponds. You know, everyone has them in their yard, and you know, it makes them look fancy or whatever. But they all have this blue toilet water, and I'm like, what is that? So I had to check with my locals here. But what happens is in these ponds and stuff, if they don't want fish and plants to grow, they put copper sulfate in it. And it turns the water this bluish color, like toilet bowl blue. But it blocks the sunlight from coming in, and it just basically keeps everything from growing in it. And you have this little pond. So copper sulfate does a really good job at that. And that's partially because of the copper. So I don't have sulfate in here, but the copper kind of works. So I'm happy with that. I know that was a 5-minute explanation of why you should put a piece of copper in your wet palette, but you know, there you go. Tim said, "Oh yes." So Tim has already experienced the stinky factor. Yeah, I mean it's not a big deal if you keep up with it. Like every once in a while, especially when you pull the parchment. Like soon I'll have to do that. You pull the parchment. I take the actual pad, you know, upstairs to the sink, and then I use a little bit of dishwashing soap and just kind of clean it out and rinse it out, and then really rinse it out well, and then it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. All right. I'm still car lagged from the trip, but it's all going well. I was actually shocked that I was able to get on Tim's live last night. I was figuring I was going to be asleep by 8. Usually the day or two after the drive is crazy for me, but it was fun. It was good hanging out. All right, so I'm just gonna work. If you guys have any questions, you just yell them out. Nothing super exciting. I am excited, however, about the 543s. So I tipped my hand yesterday on the Open Studio when we were watching it yesterday. I was hanging out with everyone, and Michael McClung was on, and I used one of Michael's suggestions. So I did that for the time lapse, which is going to be really fun. And I finished that this morning, which I'm really excited about. And I can't wait to show you guys. So, and then I'll give you another hint. He's not here, but Ian is usually around. Same cool paint conversations. Wicked Black. Oh, cool. Nice, Tim. So on the feed, I picked Michael's and I did the time lapse for Michael's painting, or Michael's suggestion. But I also picked Ian's too, and Ian had a really fun one, and that's what I was working on right before we jumped on here. And I was like, should I finish it with you guys, because it's a really fun one, and I don't know, it'll be a lot of fun. So what I'm doing now is, there's a lot in this, the concentric circles of this headlamp, and I want to get them right. I don't want to screw around with this. So instead of just kind of guessing, and there's not enough of the HD stencil left right now, so this way I can make sure I get it right, because this is right in the middle of the painting pretty much as far as what's visually there, what you look at, what you see. So I want to make sure that this is right, because I've already got it so that I'm kind of not quite right in a couple spots on this. Also, I pinned the sale code. I want to make sure everyone takes advantage of that. You usually do 2 sales a year. There's one in around Christmas time, and then there's one in the summertime. So this is a summertime one, so if there's anything you want, make sure you grab it. It would make me very happy to be able to clear the deck in a way. So Marge asked an interesting question. She was watching the Open Studio, the Tokyo one, last week with me. We were just kind of chilling on the couch while I was answering questions and doing stuff. And she had said, how do you think I use photocopies a lot. You guys know that. And she said, how do you think that affects your ability to draw? Because, in school or when you're taking a drawing class, there's a lot of life drawing, using your eyes to evaluate shapes and relationships and that kind of thing. And it's, you don't have photocopies, and you don't have a projector, and you don't have, some of the other tools we use nowadays to, or even back, whenever, to get things done. And I had to think about it for a minute, because I'm like, that's really interesting, because on the outset, anything other than sitting down with a piece of paper, a pencil, and an eraser could be considered cheating to people. Like, oh, if that makes it easier, it's cheating. But as I'm thinking about it, it's actually I believe it's actually strengthened my ability to see because I'm using this persistence of vision kind of thing where I'm evaluating really quickly by just kind of looking and then moving. And while it gives me a really quick, instant reference, it's still performing the same action. I'm registering it in my eyes and it has to get to my hands. And what I found is when I draw on my own now, or recently in the last, say, 10 to 15 years, it's had the same effect as if I was doing just life drawing, or still life drawing, you know what I mean, or painting from an object, just kind of looking at it and working it out, which is really kind of neat. And I think that's, the evaluation that you can make on just about everything. If something is a crutch and it's not helping you, it's making things easy, but it's not making you, a more proficient artist in a way, then that's something to look at, but or always something to look at, which is great. So it was a great question, and it really got me thinking, what happens? What am I doing? Is it just there to get me done, get the painting done, or is it also helping? Is it making me a better artist? Because that's the goal, really. It's always to keep getting better, because that's the one big fear. Did you do the best painting you're ever going to do? That's, I know it crosses my mind. Like, am I going to hit some downhill slide at some point? And by making yourself better, you guarantee yourself, until something physical happens, but you guarantee yourself that your next painting is going to be better because you're better. So it's really kind of cool. Actually, from life is easier because there's more information than a photo could have. Yeah, absolutely. Especially with the lighting, Tim, right? I mean, it's really interesting. And that's the other cool thing about what Tim said, and this goes true with the artwork itself. Like, we are in the throes of AI right now, and all this stuff, and music and art and writing and all this other stuff. AI is all over the place, and there's the concern from a lot of people that, we're losing our humanity. We're losing that thing that makes creativity what it is, and that's, coming from a human. But one really cool thing, and I know Tim can attest to this, and if you haven't been to a museum or a gallery lately, go. The artwork itself, there is no way to accurately represent that in any other way than the actual painting. It means paint. When I say painting, I mean art, drawing, whatever. When you stand in front of it, there are things that are going on with that because of the physical application of the medium. There are things that are going on that you cannot reproduce any other way, in a print, digitally, whatever. People say it all the time, and I love it. When they look at my stuff, they always say, oh, it looks so different in real life. It looks three-dimensional or whatever. And that's because of the way that the light is passing through the pigment or bouncing off the pigment, or, the brush strokes or whatever. You can't recreate that. So for as good as AI will be, until they can build a machine that physically paints, that mechanically paints, puts oil on canvas, the artwork is just going to be that. The human-made art is always going to be more, something a lot more, I guess. Never mind just the fact that it was, generated from, a human skill, I guess. So I did not mean to get off on this massive tangent. All I wanted to do was paint a headlight. So there's that. You guys get it. You guys get it all. Oh, boy. This outside edge here, I'm not going to worry too much about this outside edge, this right-hand side. The reason why is, look at all the work I have to do on this, on the radiator cowl here with the lines and everything. So if I go and do this perfectly awesome white highlight ridge right here, I know I'm going to end up, kind of having to redo it anyway. So the nice thing is it is a really clean white line that goes around this side. So I can leave it till later, do all the, lines of the grill, and then put that in last, and it'll still work. I wish I could afford to have models sit in my studio for 6 hours per day. Tim, I agree with that 100%. If you're learning to draw or paint, whether you want to or not, find yourself like, we used to do, we used to call it Model Monday at the gallery. And what would happen was we would have someone come in, and they were clothed, so we could get anyone. And they would sit for us. And we had a group of artists. We'd all pitch in a couple bucks. We'd buy some snacks. Everyone would bring something. It wasn't anything super formal, but they would sit for a couple hours, and everyone would do their own thing. Some people would draw. Some people would paint. And drawing from life like that, even if you don't consider yourself a portrait artist, do it. Do it, do it, do it, because it's a great experience. It will show you so much, even if you're not being taught. Because you could go in there, if you don't want to do portraits, you could go in a situation like that and just draw their clothing, draw the folds in their clothes, or draw the chair that they're sitting on, or whatever. But just drawing from life, from real life. First of all, the community is great because you're hanging around with a bunch of artists. And a lot of places have these drawing events. You know what I mean? You just got to kind of hunt them out. But don't wait till you feel you're good enough. You're not there to produce a piece of art. You're there to just kind of do the art. You know what I'm saying? I'm awful preachy right now. Roberto, that's awesome. Hello. What's up, Bobby? Yeah, we used to do it every Monday night. It was a blast, and it just kind of came up. The gallery was great. That particular gallery was also you could rent an art studio there, which was amazing. There was an old raincoat factory, and the woman whose father used to run the raincoat factory, when he retired and the company closed up, she got the building and she turned it into. She's an artist. Elaine Ostrander is her name, Philos Ostrander. And so she started this gallery / studio space, and it was amazing. So I was working out of my house, so I didn't get a studio there, but I was one of the members, and it was great. In 2011, I had a show there too as well. The gallery is no longer there. Elaine ended up moving down the Cape, so she does a lot of her artwork down the Cape now, and she continued the tradition and passed the building on to her son. I have no idea what he's doing with it, but it wasn't art, so everyone kind of moved on from there. But it was a great experience, and this is stuff you don't have to look very far to find, that the artist groups. So do it. Find them, get involved with them, even if it's, not what you do. In fact, it's better if it's not what you do, because you'll get so much more out of it watching someone else do what they do, and, strengthens the community. I am super preachy today. What's the deal? My soapbox is large today. Do you know where she shows her stuff? Bobby, I will find out. I can't remember exactly. Yeah, I'm trying. I can't remember, but you can. I'll try to send you a message. I want to say Harwich, but I'm not sure. And of course, Bobby, where you are down the Cape, there's a million art associations. It's an awesome place. So. Plus, you have right over the bridge, well, not really right over the bridge, but sort of over the bridge is South Shore Art Center, which is an amazing, amazing place. What a gallery that is, too. That's in Cohasset. And also North River, too, is right near you over the bridge. So you have more stuff than you know what to do with down there. It is Artist Haven down the Cape. So the nice thing about doing something like this, especially with drawing from life or even using the photocopy as a reference, you just kind of get lost in it. There's a lot going on here. Instead of trying to figure everything out, I'm just kind of taking it piece by piece and letting it do its own thing. You know what I mean? Like like I said, there's a lot going on with these lines and the shapes, and all I'm doing is just kind of grabbing at stuff. And it's like a puzzle. The more of it you put together, the more will kind of appear. And sometimes when you're overwhelmed by something, that's the way to do it. You're not worried about oh my gosh, what is that? How do I do that, you know? Okay, nice. Yes, there are galleries everywhere. I didn't realize how many till the other day researching. Yeah, you are in a fantastic spot. I mean, all the way up and down. I mean, of course, Provincetown is like gallery, food, gallery, food, gallery, food, all the way down. But the whole place, you know, from stem to stern down there is amazing. So, yeah, take advantage of that for sure. You know, if you're lucky, you know, and you live in a place like Bobby lives, or, you know, of course, Tim being a stone's throw from New York City, there's a lot, you know, a lot you can get involved with. However, you don't have to, usually, you know, you'll find something else. Like if you live in a place like I do, where it's really rural, you do have to do a little bit of looking, but usually you'll come up with something. Or if you can't, it's okay to start it yourself too, you know. Local libraries are great places. That's where we had, in the town I grew up in, Stoughton, that's where our art association met, in the library, and they were awesome. And it was great, you know. So, but yeah, it's that sense of community, and being around other artists is really just a great thing. And like I said, don't feel like you have to find people who do exactly what you do. That's what the internet is for. You know what I mean? You can find people that paint the same style and the same medium as you online, but those art associations or the local, you know, galleries will give you so many other ideas, so many ideas outside of just what you do. Totally worth it. Yeah, I love P-Town. It stinks, you know, that it doesn't stink that I'm here, but one of the sad parts about being here is not being able to go down, you know, the Cape all the time. And usually in the springtime, I'd go down to P-Town in the spring before everything, when stuff was open, but not, you know, it wasn't crazy down there. The other thing about Provincetown is it is a destination. I mean, so in the summertime, there's a lot of people there. But if you can get there before things start to go crazy, I mean, it's still good crazy, but it's its own brand of crazy. So you got to be prepared for that. But yeah, if you can go down a little bit before, or right before things start rocking, when things are open but not quite crazy, it's definitely a thing to do if you're an artist or musician, or, you know, anything like that. Yay, it's working out. Crazy is an understatement. Yeah, they don't call it Helltown for nothing. Yes, it is very colorful for those who are, you know, interested. The alternative lifestyles, or no, I shouldn't say that. Not really alternative. That's not fair. Non, what am I trying to say, Bobby? Non-majority lifestyles are the norm there. So it's a great place to feel comfortable. That's for sure. Yep, I love it. I love it, love it, love it. So what's really great about, you know, paintings like this too, you know, and Steve Gibson made a comment on one of his posts, and it's absolutely true. You know, it was basically to the effect of, you don't have to have literal detail to have, you know, basically realism. You know, he didn't say photorealism, but realism in general. And he's absolutely right. You know, you can imply a lot of things and have it look absolutely real. But for me, having those details is what does it, you know. And I love that. I said this in Open Studio, and I say it a lot. It's like, I love that there are different takes on everything, you know. And I try to be a better artist in understanding that. You know, if I see something I don't understand, before I immediately start criticizing it, you know, like, I know what I like, and I don't like that. I've really been trying to be better I'm always trying to be better about understanding what I'm looking at first before I, pass judgment on it. And well, that is difficult because we like what we like. Again, here's another preachy thing. I don't know what's going on with me today, but that's how you learn and that's how you grow. If you find something a little bit different than what you're used to and work to understand it, that's the trick. I mean, you may find you work to understand it and it's still crap to you, and that's fine. But yeah, it's working it out first. Someone else needs to say something, so you are saying stuff. That's good. Very pride-oriented. Yeah, it is the pride place. I love it. Food's great. Yeah, I'm going to say the food's great. Like I said, I hate to say that when I haven't been there in a few years because of, everything, timing and living in Ohio and all that. But the restaurants are always really, really good. The galleries are great too. Some of them, you get everything down there from something really, really high end to something just kind of not craft, but something very like non high end, super, urban. And it's super packed. Like it is like it's like everything is, wall to wall. It's like there is not a whole lot of breathing room, especially when it gets busy. It's like literally Commercial Street is just like wall to wall people. So that's the other thing. If you don't like big crowds, go down. Don't go down in the wintertime. A lot of things are closed, and I like it in the wintertime there, but there isn't a whole bunch to do, and it's a lot of places are closed. It can be very seasonal, but yeah. But great place to go through some beautiful place. Awesome. Food is amazing. Ocean. Yeah, definitely. The light, everyone talks about the light in Provincetown because it's a peninsula and it's out literally in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. The light is different there. It really is. And people, artists talk about it and writers talk about it. But it's true. It's true. You go there and it's just, it feels different, So it's a good time. I like that end of the Cape, from Dennis on. I like it because it's harder to get to, and I think a lot of people who do day trips down the Cape will stick to the entryway of the Cape, like Falmouth, which Falmouth I love. We used to vacation there all the time, and I have relatives there now, and it's definitely the Cape, but it's also it's closer for people to get to, so there tends to be a lot of tourism there. Or if you go farther down the Cape, it's a little bit more difficult. Not difficult, but it takes longer to get to. So people tend to not do day trips down there. I do. I love it. Like when I go down to Provincetown, it's funny when I was, because you can drive 2.5 hours in Massachusetts and still be in Massachusetts, which if you know the size of Massachusetts, you can go from end to end in probably an hour and 15 minutes, top to bottom, an hour and 20 maybe, without traffic. But you can drive 2.5 hours because you're going down the Cape, you go over the bridge, and you go all the way around the peninsula. Essentially just like wrap your way back up to Boston, but not really because it never gets there. But yeah. But for me, that was a day trip. I'd go down early in the morning and hang out all day and then drive home at night. I mean, it was easier when I was living on the South Shore to do that. But yeah. That armpit of the Cape. Yeah, but whatever, because all of the Cape is magic land. And that's the joke, So it's like as soon as you go over the bridges, it's a different world. And the people who live on the Cape, the joke is they never go back over the bridge, So, and there are two bridges actually, for those who aren't familiar with, Massachusetts. There's the Bourne and the Sagamore Bridge, and they're identical. And they're both on the Cape Cod Canal, but but they're at different points. One's more north and one's more south. So it doesn't help traffic any because there's still two, essentially 4-lane roads, 2 going each direction. So it's fun. And it's funny. So yeah, there's like, God, I don't know. Like I said, we used to go down all the time, and then I just kind of got into my head. And then I was living on the South Shore, like close. Well, it was easier for me to get down the Cape. I used to live in Weymouth, which is on the coast, so it was really easy for me to just jump on the highway and go. So that was a lot of fun. I ended up spending more time down there because of that. Because you get spoiled, I mean, when it's right there, just, I don't know. I have an uncle that never goes over the bridge. Exactly. Why would I need to go over the bridge? Everything I need is here. It's like, yep, that's it. You pay for it, though, like if you live down there and you have to do anything in the rest of the state and, you have to get back home. I mean, for you, it's home. But for everyone else, it's, like, let's go on vacation. And like I said, there's only 2 bridges that go over the canal. So there's, only a certain number of ways you can get in and out of there. So if you live down there and don't have to deal with that traffic, that's fun. However, in Weymouth, like I said, the road that leads to one of the bridges is the road, pretty much the road, I lived on, right off that highway. And everyone said when I moved there, like, oh, you're going to get all that Cape traffic and it's going to be terrible. And honestly, it wasn't that bad. Can be bad, but it wasn't really bad. Well, let's put it this way. It wasn't worth not living there, It's nice being that close. I'm not doing very much talking, but hopefully you kind of get the idea of what I'm doing as I'm just picking at it. So there's the photocopy. Sorry for my big bruise on my finger. There's a photocopy, and I'm just using that for value to kind of get those. And what I'm really concentrating on are the shapes, those concentric circles. I really want to make sure those are right. That's really the whole. I mean, the lens itself is pretty much almost done now. There's just some small details to put in. So really, it's all about getting that headlamp, the concentric circles, really, really well on that. Do you spell that as Weymouth, Kelly? Yeah, exactly, Weymouth. Yeah, everything in Massachusetts, Kelly, is named after everything in England. So they were completely non-exciting with their naming of stuff. And if they couldn't like directly rip it off, they just added new to it, like New Hampshire and, well, New York is another one. But yeah, Weymouth that's exactly it. So Weymouth is the town just north of Plymouth, and Plymouth is, of course, where the Pilgrims were landed. And actually, it's fun because Weymouth, the town I lived in, was a colony like really before Plymouth, or no, not around the same time, really old. But Weymouth couldn't make it, so they ended up getting sucked in originally to Plymouth and then became their own town again. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I liked it there. It was, Weymouth is on they have a teeny little bit of ocean, not really, but they are on the coast. So it was literally like, it would take me, to get to the Atlantic Ocean from where I was living, it wouldn't take more than 10 or 15 minutes. So it was nice. Weymouth and Dorset, yeah, same, yeah. Like I said, we weren't very creative. I think they were just trying to stay alive instead of naming stuff. It's like, yeah, let's name it that. Yeah, Manchester. Okay, great. What's funny is, too, Kelly, Dorchester near you, is that a nice place? I think it is, right? I mean, because for the longest time, Dorchester here was not nice. It was not a great place. It's better now. It's a lot better now. That's where my studio was. Yeah, it is. It is a nice place. So yeah, Dorchester here was not a nice place. Like it was a like lock your car doors type of place. Like I said, now it's better. It's getting, as Boston pushes out everywhere, and they're you know, trying to make more expensive areas to live. Dorchester, which is just south of Boston, it's a suburb of Boston. It's still in Boston, but it's like the Bronx or, something like that. Yeah, Dorchester was not the place to be. All of Dorset County is nice. That's awesome. Yeah, the locals here call Dorchester just D-O-T. If you lived in Dot, that's where you were. Yeah, so the studio that I had, the last studio before I moved here, was in Dorchester. Or as the New Englanders say, it, Dorchester. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm blown away with how the push is going on there, and I've seen it in my lifetime. I missed, originally Dorchester was nice, meaning affluent. I shouldn't mean nice, I just mean affluent. Like there was a lot of big houses there and just a lot of money. People who wanted to live near Boston but not in Boston would kind of do that. And then it just kind of became depressed. It just really wasn't a great place to live. And now it's just getting everyone who lived there who didn't have a whole lot of money is getting pushed out, and they're turning all the land that was kind of run down and nasty into these super expensive condos, and it's going to be nice again. West Virginia, what's up, man? Welcome. Tat to Tank, I love it. I don't think you have a farm borough there, which is where I live. One is enough. No, I haven't. I don't think there's a farm borough in Massachusetts, although it might be. Like I said, we weren't very creative at all. Yeah, that's the thing. And what's weird too about living in Ohio. So when they started kind of settling Ohio in the late 1800s, they used Massachusetts as kind of a guide for building the towns. So a lot of the older town centers here remind me of home, which is funny because all the town centers back in Massachusetts were modeled off of the English town centers. So it's really neat the way that's kind of been carried on. So how are things in West Virginia? What's going on there, Tank? Anything good? So again, this whole thing, this is what I'm talking about from before, as far as seeing this thing live. You're going to miss all this hand-painted stuff when I take a photograph and reproduce this. The prints are really good, but they still miss something. They still miss that actual play of light through the brush strokes. And even though these are really super small, they're still there, The resolution is there. That's tough to get in a print, or it's certainly not online. West Virginia, Mrs. South. Yeah, I'm learning to love, or not learning, I actually really do love that it's, mild here. I could see the need to escape the Northeast or the cold in any event. I mean, Marge does not agree with me. She is a true Northern girl. When it gets above 80, she gets uncomfortable. So, have you ever been to the UK? I have not, Simon. I have not. It's absolutely positively on my bucket list. What I would love to do is like block off like 3 weeks and do England, Scotland, and Ireland. But I want to be able to do it in a way that I can just kind of relax. Like I don't want to shoot in for a week, do all the touristy stuff, and then bug out. Like I'd really love to go. So what I'm hoping is, as things continue to open up and things kind of pick up, it would be really nice to have a reason to go, like an excuse to go, I guess. So if if the the custom culture blast off could pick up again and they do like airbrush stuff there, it'd be nice to be able to say, okay, now it's a business trip, you know what I mean? But I would love to go, to Ireland, where my family is from, and see all that. And my kids are half Scottish. I'd love to go to Scotland and kind of do that. And then there's so much I want to see in the UK, so it's definitely on the list. Ah, I love it. I love it. Go get that ride in, man. I love it. It's my brother-in-law, my brother from another mother. So the other thing I get a lot with this type of painting, another soapbox for you, is when you're real literal or use airbrush, people will often say that it looks as if it has no, it doesn't have that painter's touch, the brush strokes. The thing is it does, it really does. But it has it on a much smaller scale. You know what I mean? Like it's more, the resolution is much higher on it than it is on a larger painting. So while it doesn't seem on the outset like it has a lot of brushstroke and that kind of thing, it really, really does, which is kind of nice because, again, I love to give people a little bit of everything. Like if that's what you like, well, you got to get closer to it, but it's there, If you like that real slick, everything, is there type of airbrush painting, I try to do my best with that as well. And I think it all just kind of comes together the right way. Oh, Brad. I missed it. Was Brad on? I missed him. Hello, Brad. If you are a Patreon member, I profusely apologize while I try to make that as awesome as I can. So I'm trying to work out some things so that there's some exclusive things right now. And so right now you get your own open studio. And the reason why I bring it up is because the open studio that you get is Brad, the painting I did of Brad's Cutlass. Brad Mummery, which Brad just did a great show and talk. I wish it was videoed. It would have been great to watch him talk. There were some photographs, but it looked really cool. So anyway, so I did a painting of Brad's Cutlass a couple of years ago, and I made an open studio out of it, and they get to enjoy that right now. So it's kind of your exclusive Patreon thing. So I want to get a Discord channel up and running, which will be a Patreon only thing. So what we'll be able to do is just literally have a get together, just talk, everyone who's a Patreon member. So that's coming. But I've been slow to get that up and running, partially because of the other things that are going on, but also because I really want to make sure I have my heads on straight when I do it. Someone did do a video of it. Oh, Brad, good. Yeah, Brad, that's awesome. Oh, I know. I'm sorry about that, but that helps pay the bills. So, one thing I did do when I started using YouTube a lot is I ended up just doing the premium. Like I don't have a whole bunch of subscriptions to a lot of things. Like I have, I've been using Pandora. Everyone else uses Spotify, but I've been using Pandora since the beginning of time. So I have a subscription to Pandora, I have a subscription to Netflix, and I have the subscription to YouTube because I was watching a lot of YouTube. So when you get the subscription to YouTube, you don't have the ads, which is nice. Wow, a bunch of kids with the airbrush and a few stencils. I loved seeing the pictures, Brad. That was awesome. And what a nice place too. It looked like they really set it up well. I love that hanging system that they have. That bar. I use a little bit of it here for the art that I have in the studio. Now I don't have any art on the walls because I'm moving stuff around, but it's really neat. Works out really well. Especially if you're going to be moving art a lot. You just kind of grab the chains and move it around and put it wherever you want. I also figured out how to get it to work with my stuff too, because when you put small art on chains like that, they hang forward. They lean. So if the palette camera here is the wall, the painting will want to lean forward like this. So what I ended up finding out is if you use those 3M command strips on the top of the frame, it doesn't damage the wall. They're temporary and they hold the painting flush. So you still use the strength of the chain, but it keeps them against the wall. It's really a great thing. I found that out actually when I did that show when I went back to Stoughton, my hometown. They really knocked it out of the park with how they presented the art. The place looked beautiful, Brad. That was awesome. I was like, wow, they really got their. You can tell when people know what they're doing, you know, and that certainly was it. The lighting was beautiful. The space was really nice. Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, I love watching, and for me, inspiration comes everywhere. I love watching anyone work because seriously, I get mounds of inspiration from watching everyone. Like, even if they feel they're not at a higher level or whatever, and that's why I always encourage people to do live videos, because it's selfish of me, but I always get stuff out of them no matter where they're at. And for me, like I see that all the time when I see someone do something, I'll pick something up always, and it'll be an inspiration. So Chris Dunlop, Pinstripe Chris, he's got a super loose style. Really, everything's in the right place, and in the end, it's a really technically correct painting of a car, but it's very loose and a lot of drips and splashes and motion, and it's great. It inspires me. So when I see stuff like Brad's show, all the work and the way that's hung, I'm like, oh, I got to do that. That's a great idea, and I love that lighting, and I love the way that Brad frames his stuff, and his execution is crazy, and so it's fun. I like it. You see the box my 15-year-old student make. Unbelievable. Oh, really? Live streams are not for the weary. Yeah, they really aren't. I think, but on the other side of that, I think, Tim, as soon as you can master just kind of rolling with it, then you're fine. And the nice thing about YouTube is literally anyone can jump on. Anyone can jump on and show what they're doing, And I love that. I absolutely love that. Like, it doesn't have to be super high tech, For me, in fact, I like it sometimes more when it's just someone who's, hey, this is my first time, and I'm just turning on the camera and showing you what I'm doing. I love that. But yeah, it can be a lot of fun when things go sideways, which they do all the time. Like right now. Like, I have no idea why my software is not working. Oh, well, you know what I'm saying? What the frick could go wrong? Wait, where's Bobby? What's he saying? That's awesome. Congrats, Brad. Steve, you wouldn't want to watch my stuff. I'm not at a caliber to stream yet. I got to get better first. But that's what I'm saying, Bobby. I don't think that's true. I never, tell people you have to do it, and they're super uncomfortable, and they're like, oh, I don't want to do it, and then I just say you have to do it, or you're crazy not to, or whatever. You have to first be comfortable enough to do it. I get that, but you also you really don't have to feel like your stuff is top notch, or that you're going to teach the world or whatever, because you're going to know stuff that other people don't know, or even if you weren't taught the things, you're going to do things in a certain way just by default, by your own style, and people are going to pick up on that. People are going to be able to enjoy that. So if you want to do, I did that in a totally wrong spot. Oh well. If it's something you want to do, I encourage everyone to do it. And my only advice is, you know, don't do it for the numbers. Don't do it for, you know, whatever. Just do it because you want to do it. And then do it as if there's a million people on. You know, never worry about who's watching or how many people you got on or, you know, how many views you get. I mean, you can worry about that stuff if you really want to grow it, but that's not the first thing, because one thing I have found over and over again is if you just put up good content, you don't have to worry about everything else. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. You know, that kind of thing. So, all right. I think that's a good spot for here. I think I've abused you guys enough. I'm going to tilt this a little bit so you can see it head on, because you guys are seeing it at an angle. So it might straighten out a little bit if I tilt it to you. Now ignore the right-hand side again, because that's not done. Again, I'm not going to finish that, but that's really coming out. Again, you know, stuff, it's not done. The top needs to be worked out and some other stuff needs to be done, but it's really coming along. That's 90% of the way there. So once again, thank you guys. Because if I didn't have you guys hanging around, oh, that's not what I wanted. I do that all the time too. Let's do that one. If I didn't have you guys hanging around, I wouldn't have worked on this today. You know, I would have been banging on 543s. In fact, I even thought about, you know, oh, maybe I should just cancel it, because I have all the 543s to do. I'm going away two more times this summer. Once again, the end of July, or, you know, really close to one another, middle of July and end of July. So I got to get all the 543s for those 2 weeks done in advance. So I've got a lot going on. So I was thinking, like, you know, maybe I should cancel, you know, maybe I should just keep burning through it. But then I'm like, you know what? No, because this painting needs to be done too. And I missed you guys last week, and I hate to miss 2 in a row or even 1 in a row. So thank you guys for being my inspiration and keeping me going, you know, to keeping me responsible, because I need all the help being responsible I can get. So there we go. Thank you very much, everyone. I hope you guys all have a great weekend and enjoy it. Be good to one another. And if you're around on Monday, come and check out the 543s. I'm excited for them. And don't forget the sale, Sum 24. Go get your art. Hang it on the wall. All right. Love you guys, and I will catch you guys later.